You ever get that nagging feeling that something's off, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Yeah, that was me about 6 months ago. At first, it was little things, nothing dramatic enough to set off sirens. One evening, I got home from work and noticed my old wristwatch was missing from the nightstand. I figured maybe I moved it and forgot. A few days later, it was cash. I swear I had about $120 tucked into my wallet for gas and groceries. Suddenly, I'm standing at the gas station fumbling through an empty billfold, feeling like an idiot. Then came the kicker. One morning I went looking for my old laptop, the beat-up one I kept around for random stuff, and it was just gone. No note, no explanation. When I brought it up to my wife, Monica, her reaction was casual. Too casual. "You probably misplaced it, Nate," she said, waving her hand dismissively as she scrolled on her phone. "You're always losing things lately. Maybe you left it at work?" I frowned, trying to remember. I hadn't taken that laptop to work in months. "I don't think so. I could have sworn it was on the bookshelf." Monica shrugged without looking up. "Maybe you moved it when you were cleaning, or maybe you think you saw it there and you didn't. You've been so busy, babe, don't stress." And just like that, the conversation was over. Except it wasn't. Not in my head. Over the next week, more little things kept gnawing at me. A missing bottle of cologne. An old coin collection my grandfather gave me, nowhere to be found. Monica's attitude growing colder, her phone glued to her hand even when we were supposed to be watching TV together. I didn't want to be that guy, the paranoid husband, but the math wasn't adding up. Something was wrong in my house. I just didn't know yet that the real theft wasn't from my wallet or my shelf. It was something much deeper. After another sleepless night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to sit around waiting for more things to vanish, or worse, for some masked burglar to show up while Monica and I were asleep. So the next day, I stopped by an electronics store after work, spent a small fortune on a set of discreet motion-activated security cameras, the kind so tiny you'd never spot them unless you knew exactly where to look. Setting them up felt weird, like I was betraying Monica somehow. But then again, hadn't something already betrayed us? I hid one behind a stack of books in the living room. Another one went up in the kitchen, disguised among the decorative plants Monica insisted on buying, and a third, just outside the back door, camouflaged against the siding. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy, just silent witnesses, waiting. I synced everything to a secure cloud account only I could access. Paranoia? Maybe. But sometimes paranoia's just survival instincts whispering, "Wake the hell up." The timing couldn't have been better. That Friday, my boss called asking if I could cover a last-minute work trip 2 towns over. 3 days, 2 nights. I hesitated for about half a second before agreeing. "Everything okay?" Monica asked, eyeing me over her coffee cup when I told her. "Yeah," I said, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Just work stuff. Same old." She smiled back, a little too brightly. I packed my overnight bag, kissed her goodbye, and drove off. What she didn't know was that before I left, I turned on continuous recording on all the cameras. No motion triggers, no gaps, just a live, silent feed. If anything, or anyone, came into my house while I was gone, I was going to know about it. Every second of it. Sunday night, back at the hotel, I sat on the edge of the bed with my laptop, heart hammering in my chest. I hesitated before opening the camera app, like maybe if I didn't look, nothing bad would exist. But curiosity, or maybe something darker, won. I opened the first file, Friday evening. At first it was boring. Monica sitting on the couch scrolling her phone, making a smoothie in the kitchen, normal, everyday stuff. I almost closed the laptop, feeling stupid for doubting her. Then, around 8:17 p.m., the front door opened, and he walked in. Tall, athletic, wearing jeans and a t-shirt like he owned the place. No knocking, no hesitation, just walked in. Monica jumped up from the couch, grinning like a goddamn teenager meeting her crush behind the bleachers. And then, no waiting, no talking, she threw her arms around his neck and kissed him. Not some friendly little peck, not a nervous, guilty glance-around kind of kiss. No. This was the kind of kiss you give someone when you've been waiting all day to get your hands on them. I froze, staring at the screen like an idiot. My wife, in our living room, kissing another man. I barely registered the next few minutes. The laughter, the way she led him by the hand into the kitchen, how she poured him a drink like she was hosting some damn romantic date. Then it got worse, way worse. While Monica disappeared into the bedroom, probably to freshen up, this jackass started wandering around the house like he owned it. He opened my desk drawers. He picked up my cufflinks, inspected them like they were on sale at a pawn shop. I watched, numb, as he slid my watch, my father's old watch, off the counter and into his pocket. I watched him take cash from the little emergency jar I kept hidden behind the books. And Monica? When she came back out, she didn't say a word, didn't scold him, didn't ask what he was doing. She just laughed and pulled him in for another kiss. Like this was all part of the plan. My blood ran cold. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was physical, tangible. They were robbing me, together. I clicked through the footage, hands shaking. Saturday? Same thing. Different clothes, same sleazy routine. At one point, the guy even sat in my chair, sipping my whiskey, flipping through my damn mail. And Monica? She straddled him on the couch, giggling like it was the most natural thing in the world. I slammed the laptop shut, chest heaving. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't some one-time mistake. This wasn't some drunken slip-up. This was a systematic betrayal, planned, rehearsed, and played out right under my roof. In my home. In my goddamn life. And for the first time in weeks, maybe months, I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't paranoid. I was awake, and I knew exactly what I had to do next. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there in the dark, staring at the hotel ceiling, letting the cold fury settle into something sharper, something surgical. No shouting, no crying, no begging Monica for an explanation she didn't deserve. If she and her little thief thought they were clever, well, they hadn't met this version of me yet. The next morning, I skipped the complimentary hotel breakfast, grabbed a black coffee, and drove straight to the nearest electronics store. I bought 3 brand new USB flash drives, high capacity, encrypted. I wasn't taking chances with cloud backups or accidental deletions. Back at the hotel, I got to work. I copied every second of that footage. Both days. Every kiss. Every theft. Every disgusting laugh between them. Then I made 3 separate copies, each on its own flash drive, and hid them in different places. One went into my sock in my luggage, one got duct taped under the spare tire in my car, and one, I mailed it to a trusted buddy of mine with a simple note. If you don't hear from me in a week, open this. Paranoid? Maybe. But I wasn't about to let Monica and her scumbag boyfriend erase the evidence. Next step, lawyer up. I spent hours Googling the best divorce attorneys back home. Not the cheap ones, the ruthless ones. The ones with sharp smiles and sharper claws. I found a guy, Mr. Lambert, 5-star reviews, specializes in high-asset divorce and civil litigation. I called his office, scheduled an emergency consultation for Monday afternoon. When his assistant asked, "What's the nature of the issue?" I said, "Infidelity and theft, and I'm not looking to negotiate." There was a pause on the line. Then she said, "We'll make time." By the time I checked out of the hotel Monday morning, I had a folder full of documents, proof of my ownership over all major assets, bank statements showing weird cash withdrawals linked to Monica's card, copies of text messages that suddenly felt a lot more suspicious now. When I drove back home, my chest was tight, not with fear anymore, but with a kind of cold excitement, a focused rage. Monica had no idea that her little fairy tale was about to explode, and I was going to be the one lighting the match. As soon as I pulled into the driveway, Monica came out of the house, waving and smiling like a perfect wife in a postcard. "Hey, babe, how was the trip?" I forced a tired smile. "Exhausting, glad to be home." She kissed me on the cheek, and maybe if I hadn't known, I would have kissed her back. But now, her touch felt slimy, foreign. "I was thinking," she said brightly, "maybe we could go out for dinner? Celebrate a little? I missed you." "Oh, sweetheart," I thought. "You're gonna get a celebration all right, just not the kind you're hoping for." I nodded. "Sure," I said, my voice steady. "Let's celebrate." That night I made a reservation at one of the nicest restaurants in town, a place Monica loved. White tablecloths, soft music, overpriced wine. I even let her pick the dress. She chose a tight red number she knew made heads turn. Probably thought this was my clumsy way of apologizing for being distant lately. In the mirror, I straightened my tie, tucked one of the USB drives into a small velvet jewelry box, and slipped it into my jacket pocket. Tonight was going to be a night to remember, for both of us. The restaurant was everything Monica adored. Warm lighting, soft piano music floating through the air, couples clinking glasses and laughing quietly over their overpriced steaks. She looked stunning, I'll give her that. Hair curled perfectly, that red dress hugging every curve. If you didn't know better, you'd think we were the happiest couple in the room. "Smile for the camera, sweetheart," I thought grimly. "This is your big night." We ordered wine. Small talk floated between us. Her job, my trip, plans for the weekend. She even reached across the table once, brushing her fingers over my hand. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I smiled like an idiot and let her believe everything was fine. When the entrees came, I let her take a few bites, sip more wine. I wanted her comfortable, relaxed. Then I leaned back in my chair, reached into my jacket pocket, and placed a small velvet box in the center of the table. Monica's eyes widened. Exactly the reaction I expected. "Nate, what's this?" she asked, her voice pitching up in excitement. She looked around, as if expecting waiters to come rushing out with sparklers and applause. "Just something to show how much you mean to me," I said, my voice smooth as ice. She giggled, actually giggled, and opened the box with trembling fingers. Instead of a ring or a necklace, she found a plain black USB flash drive nestled neatly inside. Her smile froze. Confusion flickered in her eyes. What is this?" She laughed awkwardly, glancing up at me. I leaned in, resting my elbows on the table. My voice was low, calm, deadly. "It's all the memories you made while I was gone," I said. "Every kiss, every whisper, every dollar you stole." She stared at me, the blood draining from her face. I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. "Sure you do," I said, smiling coldly. "You invited him into my house. You laughed with him on my couch. You watched while he picked through my things like a goddamn yard sale." She opened her mouth, maybe to lie, maybe to cry, but I cut her off with a wave of my hand. "Save it," I said. "I'm not here for an explanation." I pushed my chair back, standing up. The room felt like it had gone quiet, or maybe it was just the blood roaring in my ears. I leaned down, close enough that only she could hear me, and whispered, "This little gift, it's for you, to remember everything you stole, my things, my trust, and the love you thought you could keep fooling." Then I straightened, tossed a few bills on the table to cover the drinks, and walked out without a backward glance. I didn't need to see her reaction. I didn't need to hear her excuses. I had all the proof I needed. And now, it was her turn to watch everything fall apart. The next morning, Monica came home. I was sitting at the kitchen table, a steaming mug of coffee in front of me, calm as a priest at a funeral. She stormed in, hair a mess, yesterday's makeup smeared under her eyes. "Nate, please," she gasped, tears already brimming. "You have to let me explain." I looked up at her, utterly expressionless. "Explain what?" I said coolly. "How you and your boyfriend played house while you robbed me blind?" Her face crumpled. "It wasn't like that. I didn't know he was taking your stuff." "Save it," I cut her off sharply. "I've got everything on video, every kiss, Every theft, every time you helped him." She froze, and that's when I slid the envelope across the table. "You're being served," I said. She looked at it like it might bite her. "What? What is this?" "Freedom," I said. "For me." Within 48 hours, Monica was served formally by a process server while she sobbed on the front porch. Her access to our joint accounts was frozen. My lawyer filed motions to seize the house and all valuables until ownership was decided. I changed all the locks, installed a new security system, and made it very clear she wasn't welcome back without a police escort. As for her little partner in crime, turns out stealing property while trespassing, yes, I had proof he was never an authorized guest, was a quick ticket to criminal charges. I handed over the footage to the police. Within a week, they picked him up. Apparently, he had a nice little history of theft, too. Karma, served cold. Monica tried to play the victim, posted cryptic Facebook statuses about betrayal and heartbreak, tried to rally mutual friends to her side. But when the truth came out, when people saw the footage, oh yes, a few trusted friends saw it, and gossip travels faster than wildfire, she found herself very, very alone. No sympathy, no supporters, just silence and shame. And me? I signed the final divorce papers 3 months later with a smile. Lost some things along the way, sure, a few memories, a few illusions. But I gained something better. Freedom, clarity, peace. And as I packed the last box from the house that used to feel like a prison, I thought back to the beginning. I had installed those cameras because I thought I was losing a few petty items. Turns out, I caught the biggest thief of all. And for once in my life, I was damn glad I trusted my gut. It's been about a year since everything went down. Sometimes people ask me if I miss her. If there are days I wonder what could have been different if I had just worked harder on the marriage. Short answer, no. Long answer, hell no. Since the divorce, life's been lighter. My bank accounts aren't bleeding random charges anymore. My things stay exactly where I leave them. And when I walk into my own house, it actually feels like mine, not some stage where betrayal lurks behind every corner. I started traveling more, picked up some hobbies I'd abandoned when my life revolved around making Monica happy. Learned guitar, took up hiking, even adopted a dog, a goofy golden retriever who's way better company than half the people I used to call friends. As for Monica, last I heard she moved in with some guy 2 towns over, not her lover from the videos. Turns out he ratted her out during his plea deal. Karma's funny like that. If there's one thing I learned from all this, it's simple. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. And sometimes losing someone you thought you loved is the best damn thing that could ever happen to you. Because at the end of the day, freedom isn't losing something. It's getting something better in return. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to the channel. I wish you a great mood and good luck.